Well, howdy friends, and welcome back to the ranch. Good to have you here today. Thanks a lot for stopping by. And my goodness, what a difference a couple of weeks makes. If you'll remember, I took my last video from this same vantage point, and the water up against the dam was about 4 feet lower than it is right now. We've had about 3 or 4 inches of rain, and that means about 3 or 4 feet of water in this particular creek right here. And not only is it that much deeper, it's also about twice as wide, which is a really good thing too, because the little tiny puddle it had shriveled down to was surrounded by the softest mat of dead vegetation that the animals couldn't even get to it. It was just like walking in quicksand. You'd just sink up to your knees, and the animals were really struggling to get water. So this change that you see right here will make for a lot of happy animals. Anyway, thanks again for being here today. It's good to have you. And I'm sure the reason that you are here, my last video got about 90,000 views, and that's because it was on a very controversial subject where the city government is kind of taking over our farmlands around here. If you did not see that video, you're not going to understand this video. So if you missed it, you might want to go back and look at it so you'll understand what we're talking about today. So yep, the city voted and we lost. So I guess it won't be too long before there is a public access hiking trail all along this creek, all the way around the ranch. So, and you know, I was an elected official in this town too. I served on the school board for some years back in the 90s, back when all this exponential growth started. And I know it's a nightmare. All the decisions are problematic, they're difficult, and for all the people that your decision makes happy, there's equally a big amount of people that you probably angered at the same time. You can't please everyone. You just have to do the best you can, and I just hope and pray that that's what our city officials are doing with this long-range thoroughfare plan. But nevertheless, the biggest problem that I see with these difficult decisions and that they've had to make in an area like this is I feel sorry for the animals, because this is their drinking water, and most of them are back here on our land, and so they'll have to cross a public access hiking trail to get to their drinking water, and that will be problematic. However, all that area back over there on the other side of the creek will more than likely soon be all neighborhoods pretty darn quickly. All back that way will be all new neighborhoods very soon, and back over there against my south border, you saw that in the last video, it's all going to be neighborhoods. Right down here at the end of the creek will be a high-rise apartment complex for affordable housing. So sounds like a train wreck to me. But like I was saying, the animals, more than likely, they're just going to slowly start getting pushed deeper back into the forest. That way, that's the last open border, and within a short amount of time, they're all going to be back there, and they're going to continue going that way with all the construction equipment and the new thoroughfare that's going in. A lot of you commented I needed to put a high game fence all the way around the ranch, but basically that would cut them off from their water. And two, where this trail's going in, we can't build anything anymore. That's part of the deal. You can't build structures. I don't really know where high game fences would come to play in that, but more than likely that would be problematic too. A lot of you also recommended that I lawyer up and create a committee of like-minded folks to band together and do what we can to protect the habitat for all these animals and stop the growth and all that. And you know, folks, as much as I'd like to have this ranch and all the neighboring ranches back as they were, the last thing I want to do in my golden years is create anxiety. When you see urban sprawl and all this massive growth coming, it's just a giant bulldozer, and a smart person will know when to get out of its way. And I think those days are near. In a few days, the first day of May, we will have been here on this ranch for 34 years. And we came here in 1989, and there were 5 things that I was looking for. Number 1 is a safe place to live. Number 2 is a town with safe schools with excellent educations. Number 3 was a good place to work, a good place for a veterinarian to set up shop and work, where there was a good community feel, where I'd know all my clients, I could take care of their problems. Number 4 was I wanted an area with a small town feel. And number 5, I wanted a place where I could retire and feel secure and not have to worry about anything. And my friends, now pretty much all 5 of those select criteria have slowly disappeared. And my biggest concern for this ranch, with all these new neighborhoods and subdivisions going in, has to do with trespassing, with vandalism, with thieves, with poachers, with airplanes flying over, with pollution, and also habitat destruction for all these poor little animals that live here. And like I said, as of May 1st, which is in just a few days, we will have been here 34 years, and this is home. It's hard to leave home, and we will probably stay here as long as it feels like home. And you know, folks, a smart man once said, there's one constant in life, and that is, if you build something worth having, somebody's going to try to take it away from you. Thank you, John Dutton. But anyway, folks, my family's just like your family. We've had our highs, we've had our lows. In the grand scheme of life, this ranch thing, all the growth around it and the changes of what it used to be compared to what it's going to be in the future, you know, honestly, that's small beans. And I know a lot of you are saying, Lee, you need to stand up for your rights and all this, but you know, folks, this is growth. It's expansion. It's all around us. Even if I could stop it right here from affecting my place anymore, all the areas around it are going to turn this ranch indirectly into something that it never was before. And that's just the way of life. And you know, guys, more than likely the biggest hurdle my wife and I will have with all this is trying to sift through and move 34 years of crap we've collected. Know what I mean? And guys, you know good old Dr. Lee, he's not going to leave you with a depressing video and reach up here and flip this camera off and say, see you in 2 weeks. No sirree, bobtail monkey. I've got a surprise for you. I've got a little present for you. Kind of perk you up just a little bit. Recently, the Texas Corvette Association had its annual car show here in my little town of Bernie. And they had 400, 500 cars out there. Majority of them were Corvettes, but it was an open show. So they brought in some of the coolest old 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s cars. It's not all just Corvettes. And I made a little video montage just for you. And even those of you that aren't really car people, there's some cool cars in here that are art. They're not just cars, they're not hot rods, they're art. They're beautiful cars. I think you'll like it. More than likely, especially if you're over 20 years old, you'll probably see some cars you've either owned in the past, or your parents owned, or your neighbors had, that you wish you could see again. It was a cool show, a lot of cars there, and I made this little video just for you. Maybe it'll put a smile on your face. Enjoy. Well, folks, that's about it from out here on the ranch today. Mockingbird. Folks, that's about it from out here on the ranch today. I hope you enjoyed the little automotive present from me to you. Boy, there were some beautiful cars in there. I hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, thanks again for being here today. It means a lot to me. I look forward to seeing you next time. God bless you all, and I want you to always remember I love you. Bye-bye now. So what you doing there, Al?
Neutering a dog, Dad.
All right. Who's gonna learn you?
That's a mistake.